do with $109 billion? I think the politically correct answer would be to help people. But according to a February poll performed by the World Public Opinion Organization, most people would have done nothing. Now, were they stupid? Well, I don't know. But let me further explain the situation. They were given a copy of the federal budget, and looking it over, the average person cut $140 billion. $109 billion of that alone was just taken out of the wars overseas. That was, interestingly, only an 18% cut in what was being already spent. Furthermore, they would have pushed what was already being spent more towards bettering the quality of life, like environments, job creation, and education. It's clear that there's a desire for change. But President Obama wanted to increase the spending overseas by 4%. And it's becoming more and more clear that there's a miscommunication between us and the people that we chose to represent us when it comes to solving these problems. So the question arises, can we change? Well, according to Jacques Fresco, a futurist and inventor, he believes yes, and he thinks he already found a way to do it. Today, I'll be discussing the Venus Project, an organization formed by Jacques Fresco in Venus, Florida, who believe they have the answers to today's problems. I'll be discussing what problems they think we have, what possible solutions they're proposing, and how a possible reformation will affect your lives and role in the community. Now, exactly what problems does he think we have? Well, interestingly enough, it goes too far in depth for me to cover all the material, but according to the 2008 Zeitgeist Addendum, a documentary on the Venus Project, the #1 cause is money. Okay. Money causes a series of problems, and one of the main problems is cyclical consumption. Now, this can be described as following. When we purchase something for our survival or our comfort of lifestyle, that money goes towards employers, who then pay employees, who then go out and purchase stuff themselves. If this were to stop at any point, the whole cycle would collapse. This cycle needs to continually keep going on and on without any stopping. Now, the problem with this is that it causes waste, physical junk. Whether it's cell phones or video games that are likely to be outdated in a couple of months, it's clear that we're having a big loss in resources that we could use towards more usable products. Also, it stunts our growth. Because destructive, resistant, high-quality merchandise that lasts a lifetime would stop this cycle in itself, because we wouldn't buy something that lasts a lifetime twice, we're not really pushed to further our learning and technology. Another problem this causes is crime. Hey you, give me all your money. Yes, that. According to a 1996 Murdoch study, which surveyed 30 cities with an overall population of 80 million, a 1% increase in unemployment caused a 6.7 increase in homicidal crimes, 3.4 increase in violent crimes, and 2.4 increase in poverty crimes. Another problem it causes is jobs. Now, whether your jobs are as severe as this, or you just sit around a casino waiting for a machine to break, it's likely you're spending a lot of your life doing something you don't want to do, being somewhere you don't want to be. And this is also a waste of our time, which is sort of our resource and what we provide society. Another thing is competition. Since machines like tractors and conveyor belts have pushed a lot of the people into manual labor into the service industry, it's becoming increasingly hard to find a job in this industry. Unfortunately, machines are also entering this service, and you can ask any Video Depot employee, Blockbuster employee, or Hollywood Video employee, they'll tell you the same thing. Now, what exactly does the Venus Project propose we do about these problems? The first thing in solving the money problem is to get rid of it. It's no good, there's too many problems. Instead, they suggest we switch towards a resource-based economy, which means since money doesn't really actually affect what is available on the earth, we should just kind of scrap it and more so distribute or make available what we have towards everyone equally, since we're all equally inhabitants of the earth. Now, what do societies need to maintain a comfortable lifestyle? The first thing is energy. Now, there are lots of energies out there. We don't need to keep burning scarce resources like oil. The first is wind. Now, according to a 2005 Stanford study, if we only tap 20% of the wind that's out there, it's enough to fuel the energy for the entire world. Other sources of energy out there are solar power, the less known tidal power, which is kind of like wind, only it's under the ocean, it collects the movement under the ocean, and wave power, which collects the movement on the surface of the ocean. But the most abundant source of energy is geothermal power, which uses water to collect energy from heat from the earth. Now, according to a 2006 MIT study, today there are 2,000 zetajoules of energy that could be tapped. We currently only spend 0.5 zetajoules of energy a year. So there's currently 4,000 years of energy already being ready to be tapped today. Another thing society needs is raw materials, things to help, things to provide everyone. Unfortunately, the Venus Project notes that there hasn't really been a global survey of what is actually available, because countries are only really concerned with themselves, and they only distribute towards who has the purchasing power. But another thing societies need is food, water, and air. Clean food, clean water, clean air. Now, it's obvious there's a lot of clean air for everyone, but what about food and water? The biggest problem is dirty water. We're using processes like desalination and reverse osmosis. We can convert any salted water into fresh drinking water there is. And furthermore, something called hydroponics, which has been around since the 70s, at least the 70s, is a form of growing plants and vegetables and fruits and all that without the need of any good soil. So my next point, so what does this have to do with you? All of you, actually. Well, a great deal. Remember a good friend, the red box? Well, according to the Venus Project, employing machines is a good thing. In a society where there's no need for money, you wouldn't need a job to earn anything. So the more machines employed, the more freedom people are, so they don't have to do these jobs for us. Or so they don't have to do these jobs. So this is called technological employment. So we all know it's easy to replace cashiers, or even more recently, entire stores by using machines. No need for sales associates or anything like that. But people get a little bit not so sure when it comes to machines doing things like surgeries or repairing cars. Now, when asked about this, the Venus Project suggests that we just look at a calculator. We're already used to delegating our decision making towards machines when it comes to a calculator. We just input what we want, and it gives us back the answer. Another thing is cities. According to a Larry King interview in 1974, yes, all of this has been available since 1974, Jacques Fresco cites that cities will be completely different in this society. The round city is more resourceful when it comes to energy using and travel technologies. What we'll have out here is just nature pretty much for our own enjoyment. This here would be the agricultural belts. This is where we would grow what we need. It would be different in different areas depending on what's available to them. Here would be areas where people would live in houses, as well as we would have our systems that collect the energy. And again, if you're in a desert, or your city's on the ocean, or your city's out in somewhere like this, it would be very different how you collect your energy. This is also where people would live. Here are different buildings, and in these buildings there are different things depending on what the people in this city want. If this right here may be the medical building, this right here may be for exercising, this right here may be for science. And if you decide to work in the medical field, which you obviously wouldn't have to do, you might want to live somewhere right here. It's a lot more convenient with the medical buildings over here. But you don't have to. Again, you can live wherever you want. Towards the center here, there would be a school, not tuition paid. You just go in and get whatever education you want. So, there you have it, the Venus Project, a general understanding. I've already spoken about what problems they think we have, what possible solutions they have to these problems, and how this will affect you and your role in society. So in conclusion, if I had $109 billion, I would buy the Harry Potter kids, and we would all hang out on this island, and I'd buy the blonde girl from Glee.
Yeah.